Everybody, I'm Pandy, and this video is dedicated to a very common question I get almost on a daily or weekly or whatever basis based off of comments and private messages that I get on a regular basis. The question is, Pandy, do you have any tips on earning more experience and or credits? I kind of combined the two questions because they're relevant to each other, really close tied knit. First, let's take a look at the game mechanics to give you guys a base idea of how everything works within World of Tanks, the mechanics of how you gain experience and credits. Let's talk about experience first. Damage will make up the majority of your experience earned. Any amount of damage that you put out with your overall team will add to the overall experience the team will get as a whole. Critical damage to enemy tanks will add experience up to you individually. The higher tier the tank is, the more experience you will get. Spotting an enemy tank on radar for the first time will gain experience, and SPGs will give you double the experience to you individually. Lighting up tanks will earn you experience as long as an allied tank outside of their field of vision or their radar hits them and damages them. You would gain and earn a 50% bonus for the damage caused by your ally. Kills will also gain you experience, however, it's a really minor factor in this deal. The whole deal depends on the tier of the tank that you kill. The higher the tier, the more experience you get. The lower the tier, the lesser experience you get. Now, bonus experience is given to anyone who captures the enemy base on an individual basis. This is based off of the proportion amount of time that you spent in the enemy circle. So if you only spent 30 clicks in there, you only get 30 amount of experience. If you spend 100% in there, you get the 100% plus the invader experience and credits. Now, the complete destruction of the enemy team will not lead to more experience. Just keep that in mind. Everyone says, kill, you get more experience. No, the complete destruction of an enemy team will not gain you more experience. Now, let's take a look into credit calculations for World of Tanks. Credits are rewarded for participating in battle with the overall battle performance of you, i.e. damage inflicted in the form of hit points. Bottom line, you get a base amount of credits just for participating in the battle, which is a very small amount, plus an individual amount of credits based off of the amount of damage that you dish out. This is how a lot of people will get 3 kills and simply no credits. If they all had maybe 100 hit points combined, you're only going to get 100 hit points worth of credits, even though you get 3 kills. The tank itself also really depends on the amount of credits that you earn. Payments are proportional to the tank's tier, so if you're worth more in battle, if you're at the very top, you'll get more credits. If you're at the very bottom, you're going to get less credits. This is all proportional on how you are tiered up against your fellow tanks. Now, if X is representative of battle performance, when it comes to this, it's X times tank tier for a defeat or tie, or 1.8 times X times tank tier for victories. Now, for every point of damage that you inflict, you will get Y amount of credits. For every tier the target is higher than you will get a 10% bonus on top of Y amount of credits. So if you damage a tank 2 tiers higher than you are, you will get a 20% bonus for damaging the enemy tank in the form of credits. So this equation will come out to 1.2 times Y. If you're damaging a tank outside of your view range, you will get an additional 50% bonus to your credits per point of damage. If an enemy tank is damaged while you're lighting them up, any allied tank that hits them outside of their range or their view range, you will receive an additional 50% bonus to credits per point of damage. All initial spotting of enemy tanks will get you a Z amount of credits. Z being the amount. SPGs count as double the amount of credits that you receive, so it's Z times 2. When you're capturing a base, that's also paid out in a certain amount of credits depending on your share of the cap. Of course, if it's interrupted, you won't get any credits at all. Now, with a premium count, as you guys may already know, you gain an additional 50% net gain on top of your grand total after the battle. So after talking about the game mechanics, I want to just go ahead and start off with experience. Overall, you have little to no control over the amount of experience that you're going to gain. It's all dependent on how your team performs and where you are in regards to winning. I mean, obviously, if your team wipes out the whole other team, you're going to get more experience because your overall team did overall more damage. Now let's say everyone rushes the cap and only 5 of the enemy tanks are destroyed and you guys win by camping out. You're only gonna get 5 tanks worth of damage plus any additional damage done in the form of experience, plus whatever you get in experience for camping the cap zone. That's why whenever you're playing and you're trying to grind, that's when you need to really plan, try to work out as a team as a whole. It's very important as a team player to earn a favorable outcome to maximize your experience. A winning team is a good team. Now, if you're trying to grind as quickly as I usually do, there's people asking me, how do you get tanks so fast? Well, it's a trick of trade. And also being a classic wallet warrior. What I do is I try to get a bunch of elite tanks. I started out at first with a bunch of tier 2 tanks like the Panzer II, the Hotchkiss, the BT2, the T2 light tank, the M2 light tank. And what I would do is I'll go out and get me a whole bunch of doubles and then convert all that experience over. When I was doing that with all those low tier tanks, I was averaging about 6 to 10k experience per night that I was able to convert. My farming tanks right now currently is the M46 Patton, the T95, the KV5, the Lowy, the Panther, the KV3, and the Hotchkiss. As I mentioned before for the tier 2s, I still have that tier 2. On average about 14 to 20k per night just on doubles. That's enough experience for me to do the research for the T32 just after 8 days of researching my T29, potentially theory. And this is without even playing a single game on the T29. I managed to fully upgrade my T95 in this fashion just under 3 days. It's the best way for you to gain tanks as quickly as possible to maximize the amount of experience you get to pretty much funnel that into a single tank. Allows you to get tanks faster. Now to limit the amount of gold that I spend on each tank, or i.e. how much money I quote unquote spend, I try to buy and perform the doubles on all those tanks that I'm trying to upgrade. If you guys take a look at my garage right now, you'll see that I have almost every single line of tanks. Right now I'm focusing on getting my T29. That's why you don't see my T1 heavy. I actually have my M6 heavy, the tier 6 American heavy tank researched. However, I'm not going to get it. I'm just going to skip straight down to the T29, which I researched the M6 last night, and I'm thinking later tonight I'm going to get the T28. So that's how quickly I, turn experience over. 2 days of having a tier 6 tank researched, I'm able to upgrade to the tier 7. And it's a bit different once you get to the tier 7 because it requires a lot more experience to get your tier 8. And by the time I get to tier 7, it's usually at that point it's a decent tank. And I want to actually play it, make some videos of it possibly, and go from there. However, when I buy the tanks and I perform the doubles on them every night, that allows me to learn the tank and be able to limit the amount of gold I have to spend and allow me to possibly accelerate how quickly I can get additional tanks. After talking about the experience mechanics and how to gain tanks faster through conversion of experience, I want to go ahead and dive into the potential of making more credits and my tips about that. First and foremost, get yourself a premium account. This is an automatic 50% bonus to credits that you just simply can't turn down. This allows you just to automatically get more credits without actually having to play. Well, you have to play, but without having to do well in game. You always want to do well, but if you don't, you automatically get this bonus. Why waste the chance? Whenever playing, try to earn yourself the sniper reward every game that you play. This reward, like any other of the combat rewards, comes with an experience and credits bonus that goes on top of your grand total. Every little bit counts in the long haul, so focusing on getting this reward helps you do more damage in the long run, because the more hits that you get, the more of a chance that you get a chance to do damage, because it just brings up that idea of just a law in numbers. The more people that you hit, the more chances you get to damage them. It goes the same theory in a bar. The more women you talk to, the more likely you're going to get laid. At least that's my theory, and that's what works for me. I don't know if that made any sense, but whatever. You guys get the idea, right? More hits you get, more damage you do. Or more chances of doing damage. Don't aim to get the top gun. Kills don't really matter when it comes to making experience. It's more about the amount of damage that you do. Top guns are nice, and like the sniper reward, you will earn more experience / credits. But the kills don't max out the amount of credits that you can earn in the long run. the overall amount of damage that you can dish out, the more credits that you would get. So if I was you, usually I would prefer getting a Confederate more than I do over a Top Gun. Just keep that in mind. The more damage you do, the more credits you'll get. Stay alive. I mean, it's simple. The more potential damage that you can dish out, the more experience and credits that you'll earn. Because if you're alive, there's more shells that you can dish out. The more rounds you put out, the more likelihood you're going to get hits, the more likelihood you're going to get damage. Damage equals credits. And lastly, I'm probably going to get burned for recommending this. Get yourself either a KV-5 or a Lowy for your credit making power. It's a Wall Warrior style, but it works. It just truly does work. These tanks help a lot in earning credits due to their low cost in repairs and ammo. And they also get extra bonuses in regards to credit making and experience because they are just gold tanks, just pure and simple. This helps support the game, and in supporting the game, they're willing to give you extra bonuses for, quite frankly, giving them money. Just keep in mind with these tanks, you still need to play smart and you still need to do a lot of damage. You still want to hit them, more damage, more credits. This is how I average about 60-80 credits per game with these two tanks. The most I made on these tanks is with the KV-5, where I managed 162k because I hit 14 people in the game. I didn't even get a kill. I hit 14 people and I got a Confederate. So the more people you hit, the more damage you do, the more likely you are to make a lot more credits. In closing, you really don't have that much control over experience, but you can maximize how you focus all that experience by having a lot of elite tanks, converting the experience, and then funneling it all into a single tank. And B, when it comes to credits, it's not really reliant on the number of kills that you have. It's more reliant on the amount of damage that you put out there, that you slam into the enemy. It's more reliant on that. Hopefully this all helped. If you guys have any comments, put it down below. If you guys liked what I talked about, it's kind of boring because all I did was talk, but I'm just answering some questions, providing information, and hopefully this helps in the long run. I don't know. Hopefully it helps. Thanks everybody. It's Pandy, and good hunting.